and it was in big news. So they went in and they took all the storyline that had to do with the plane, because she was on a plane that almost crashed.
No.
So they cut everything out, and all the stuff they cut out was all my stuff. Actress, filmmaker, activist, advocate, and everyone's favorite vegan. Yeah, Angella Dawne is on the show, guys. Yeah. Let's start with charitable work, because I know you do a lot of charitable work with a lot of animal organizations and stuff. You build awareness of animal rights, environmental rights, human rights. Tell me about that. How did you get into that?
Well, I've always kind of done some sort of activism. I've been volunteering since I was a teenager for shelters, but before that I was like rescuing animals off the street constantly.
You'd bring them back home?
I would just, they would find me. They would just show up like on our patio, on our porch. Like, I'm not kidding. They would,
wow.
Yeah, I'd find them down the street, like anything, birds, ducks, cats, dogs, raccoons, whatever, you name it. Yeah, so I just kind of feel like I've always been doing that, and I just feel like it's a big important part of life.
It's a very important part of your life. I mean, you're the one of the most active people I know. You have so many organizations. It's pretty impressive.
Thank you.
Is that when you started to go toward veganism, when you started seeing all the animals and you're like, well, I just love their faces too much?
Oh, I do. I love their faces so much. But I didn't make the correlation. I didn't make the connection. Like, I feel like a lot of people don't, because we're so used to, like, we're just raised to say, oh, this is food. It's, not raised to say, oh, this is like an animal that like suffered and then died. I kind of had to start cutting out meat as it was for a bit. And then I think somebody came to a school of mine, like organization, and they had the flyers out, and it wasn't even graphic, like the pictures they had, but they had information and they had photos of, like, I remember the chickens, just like a ton of chickens just shoved into a cage and their heads were like,
so sad, I know.
Yeah. So I was just like, oh gosh, wow. I can't do any of this. I think I was doing white meat and dairy. Like, I think that was like, I had cut out everything else. But at that point I was like, oh my gosh, like they're all suffering, like dairy's included. Oh gosh.
You're in your teens?
Over 12 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's weird for me to say how long. I kept cutting out.
Oh, you kept cutting things
out.
As
I found out,
more
like,
and more.
more and more, I was like, and then, you make these excuses of like, oh, well, this fish don't feel pain, or I don't know, something like a cognitive dissonance, and it's so ingrained. And I understand people have they just kind of don't get it. I just couldn't. I cold turkey.
How do you use the power of media to influence this positive change? Because you had a show called Vegan Chicks.
Thank you for bringing that.
Yes, Vegan Chicks. Tell us about Vegan Chicks.
Okay, so Vegan Chicks, I actually had a 501c3.
It's a nonprofit charity.
Yeah, it's kind of on the downswing after a car accident I had. It's going to get there again. So I had this set up to create innovative ways to raise awareness about like environmental issues and animal welfare, et cetera, et cetera. So I tried a couple different projects, and this one I actually got to raise awareness about veganism to a organization that was giving away grants.
Oh.
Yes. And so I got a little bit of funding via the grants.
Yes.
And I didn't think anything of it, but I remember I was like, oh, they're looking for innovative. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm like, I thought I was going to like be sitting on the script for a while. I was like, I'll just send it. I sent them a little
You
snippet.
wrote this?
I wrote it.
Yep.
I sent them like one episode, and it was a comedy. It was like the first ever vegan sitcom.
Wow.
So yeah, it was
no animals were harmed in the making of the sitcom.
No animals were harmed. I think we even had vegan catering, but
yeah, I would assume you're not gonna be like, where's the beef? Idyllwild International Film Festival. They gave you an award for Vegan Chicks. What was it?
Oh my gosh, there was a few awards. One of them was for producing, excellence in producing, and then the other one was like best web series.
It's on YouTube.
Yeah. It's actually down for now.
But it was on YouTube.
Yeah. I've had a lot of people ask me what happened to it.
Yeah, what happened to it?
It's kind of a long story, but to summarize, I got in a really bad car accident.
How long?
I was like knocked out. It was like, I had a brain injury, I found out.
Yes. They told you afterwards?
I was on my way to a promo shoot for the Vegan Chicks. I was the producer. I had like everybody waiting there at the shoot. I was on my way, photographer, and they were starting the shoots with some of the other actors. And then somebody cut me off on the highway going like, I don't know, 2 miles an hour. And I was going normal speed. Yeah. And so, needless to say, I didn't make it to the shoot, but they all got their shots and stuff. We shot later. And then I think it was the next day. I didn't know the injuries I had. I was running on adrenaline. My car was towed, whatever. I had people coming from out of town to be in this. So the next day I had to go film like 5 episodes back to back, which was the beginning of the series.
Wow. With a brain injury. You don't even realize you have a brain injury at this time.
I don't know I have a brain injury.
I don't even realize I have one right now. I'm sorry.
Thank you for making this fun. Thank you. So this is a very serious topic. But
It is very serious.
But it's
I'm
over.
sorry.
And there's a moral to stories.
Yes.
I still made it through like 4 or 5 episodes. Other actresses was amazing and so supportive and so helpful. I was directing, producing, and acting in it with a brain injury.
Wow.
With a herniated disc.
Oh my God.
And 2 other bulging discs in my back. And then I had sciatica. And I had
wow.
And I had all these other injuries I didn't know about because I thought, I'm fine, you know.
Yeah. Oh,
they
it's a little
sent
accident.
the ambulance away.
Yeah, the ambulance went away. I should be okay.
The cops were like there. They're like, they see the ambulance coming and I guess I'm fine. So I got through that, but I was struggling. I could tell there was something a little bit off. And then 6 months later, I finally went in for scans and found out I had a brain injury. And I was like, and then after I kind of went back knowing that, looking at the vegan chicks and watching, and I was like,
I don't remember any of this. Who was that? That's me. I don't remember shooting this.
I was like, why did I do this? And I had a brain injury. I'm like, this isn't really like.
Was it a better version of you or not as good of
no,
Oh, okay.
I was like working molasses and like I was like a limited version of myself.
No one even knew. No one even noticed and said to you, Ange, come on.
They knew that I had an accident.
They knew you had an accident.
And that I was like kind of, out of it a little bit. But holy moly, just the double, it was crazy. So I kind of just hid it for a little bit because I was like, I need my full potential as much as I can, not like a limited version of.
Let me say, you are the real deal when it comes to veganism, all that. Because I remember a story. You went to my buddy Kurt Wimmer's house. Kurt was on the show also here. And I remember we were in the kitchen and there was some potato salad. And you're like, oh, is there any meat in the potato salad? I'm like, I don't think so. It's potatoes and salad. I don't think so.
We verified with someone else.
We verified with somebody. Yeah, I said, no, there's nothing in there. I said, great. So then you start eating it. You're like, oh, this is, it's pretty good.
Well, I didn't say I had a bite or two.
You had a bite. You didn't say that. You had a bite. Okay, maybe 2. And then Kurt's mother, who made the potato salad, walked in and I said, by the way, there's no meat in this. She goes, no, there's no meat, just a little bacon. God bless you, Angela. I felt so bad for you. Your face went like. And then the tears started coming down your face. I'm like, okay, listen, it's okay. It's okay. You didn't know. It's okay. You just spit it out. It's okay. The animal didn't know. You're not mean to the animal. And I saw how much it affected you by accidentally eating that. And I always felt bad from that. I still tell the story to people because it's really funny. And I feel bad. And I just want to say, I'm sorry on behalf of Kurt's mother, Kurt, myself, and anybody else who ever told people there was no beef in something or meat, and there was. So
I feel silly. And I feel like, I don't want people to be like, oh, silly vegans are,
no,
tear-eyed.
No, you're not silly.
But it's like it starts to get to another level too after you.
Yeah, you made this choice to not to live this certain way. Yeah. So, you started off as a model and actor. Did you ever go to school for acting?
Well, I took lessons here and there, like high school, and I started modeling at like 15, and so
me too.
It was well, you've been doing stuff for a long time.
Well,
too.
I haven't been modeling since 15. Never modeled.
I want to say it's off and on though.
By the way, what was your first role in acting? Do you remember coming out here? Was your first role in LA?
Oh my goodness. There was a casting they needed somebody to speak German, a commercial, and I was like, it was for like Bueno Candy or something.
Bueno,
like a
big
kind.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, me. And then, so I booked it, and that was like my first commercial. And I was like, I memorized the whole, by the way, my memorizing dialogue, thank God.
Really good?
Thank God. It's always been great, but it was not effective with the brain.
Oh, that's good.
So,
okay, yeah.
Thank God.
That's good.
So, yeah,
that's
it doesn't
good.
really affect my work.
Yeah.
But yeah, the commercial was me speaking German, and they ended up dubbing me anyway with a native German, but it looked like,
it looked like you were saying it.
And
you got paid for it.
And I did.
That's good.
And
was it a SAG
really
job?
Cute. No, I think I was before I was union, and they did like a non-union.
Because that would be a way to get into
Germany.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, that would have been a way to get into the union. Those little loopholes.
Oh, it was so hard.
Yeah, because you could be like, we need someone who looks a certain way. Well, she's not in the union, but she can speak German, and we need her for this commercial. And then you could have got your SAG card that way.
I didn't even know all the words. I didn't speak it, so you don't even have to speak the language fluently sometimes.
Is it true they just put peanut butter in your mouth and you just went like this?
No.
And they thought they just dubbed the words in? Okay. That was Mr. Ed. That was a TV show. I'm sorry.
Oh my gosh.
That's what they.
It was a horse, right?
Yeah, because they made the horse look like he was trying to talk. They just put peanut butter in there.
They
used
peanut butter.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
That's how they make him look like he's talking, because his mouth would be like, and they go, "Hello, I'm Mr. Ed." It was before my time.
How did you get your SAG card, by the way?
How did I get my SAG card? Oh, you know what? I got it. I believe I got it for the Nanny.
Really?
I got on the Nanny.
Oh, what a cool job! Wow.
Yeah, and it was an amazing week because that was a multi-camera show.
Yeah.
So I get thrown into the show with Jason Alexander from Seinfeld was on. So the whole week we're all there doing the table read together, putting up on things.
So it's like a guest star.
Yeah.
Oh Oh,
It was crazy.
nice.
So it was a lot of fun, and it was like what was it called? That trial by fire, because I was like thrown into this, and it was like, wow, this is great. So, and I played a reporter who was hounding Fran, and then, but here's what happened with it. We filmed that episode the end of the previous season. It could have been the penultimate year of the show. We filmed it at the end of the season to be for the first show of the following season. Over the summer, there was a plane crash.
No.
And it was in big news. So they went in and they took all the storyline that had to do with the plane, because she was on a plane that almost crashed.
No.
So they cut everything out, and all the stuff they cut out was all my stuff.
Oh my gosh, no.
Yeah.
Never used it.
Never used it.
Did you get copies?
Never got copies. Never got
Oh
copies.
my gosh.
Yeah.
I have stories like that.
Oh, I do.
Oh,
Yes.
my
Yes.
goodness.
We have a lot of stories. You were a part of a lot of really cool shows. Weren't you in Entourage for an episode? What was it like? That great show to be involved with, I think. It's such a
it's a great show.
a hip show. Give me a behind the scenes story of any kind of show you were on back in the day. You remember, like, wow, this is even more
I would
interesting than
never
stuff.
give away those secrets.
Yes, give me a secret. I'll give you a secret. Jason Alexander was so funny on the show because he was playing a blind guy. People actually had to tell him, Jason, you're not on Seinfeld. Tone it down a little bit.
Oh, really?
And by the time we shot it, his performance, which we all were crying earlier in the week when he was doing it the first time, he toned it down. And that's what I learned. If you're the guest star on a show, you don't upstage anybody else. You do your job for the week or for the day, whatever it's 3 days, and then you leave.
And he was like kind of.
So I think he just kind of knew when someone said, I don't even know who said it to him, but someone just made a comment, hey, okay, let's tone it down. This is in Seinfeld. And I think it just sat with him. He's like, and he just kind of toned it down, either subconsciously or consciously. Yeah. So there's a behind the scenes story right there. Now, give me some dirt.
There was no dirt. The only dirt was it was like a kissing scene, and I think it was like my first like.
What was her name? I'm sorry. So I can see you being the love interest on shows.
Thank you. I had a quick little scene with I was like an actress, and like I went.
You were
into
an actress.
I was an actress
You were
playing an actress.
Playing an actress.
Okay. Auditioning for like a show and or a scene in the show. So and
the show within the show.
And then show within a show. And then I had like a little like kissing thing. It was so short, but it's funny because like people will send me
they take screenshots of the TV and send it to you.
And I'm like, because it's just it's just like
those.
this small little and whatever else was cut out, and then it just becomes like more about this kissing scene. Anyway, so but everybody's so great and gracious, and it was so like it was like not awkward. It was very friendly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awkward of a kissing scene. Love like anything.
Yes, especially nowadays. Can you imagine doing like a love scene now with all the stuff now? It's going to be like
the coach, like the
you have to have the intimacy coach around, and everything is like, this is when the true acting has to happen now. Like today, like we're doing a love scene with somebody today. Wow.
Yeah.
Because a lot of factors don't let you to be thinking romantic thoughts.
Yeah. And that's actually part of like a technique that my acting, like I was studying with Ivana Chubbuck for a while in her
Ivana
class.
Chubbuck, wow.
And she, like a lot of that chemistry stuff is like legit thinking the thoughts, Like,
well, think about it. Think about all the people on sets of movies and TV shows that want to become in couples because, you're feeling those things because you're producing that so you can do the performance. And then your brain doesn't really know the difference sometimes if you're producing it, artificially or naturally.
It's true. It's just like making things happen. And it's funny because, but I think there's already a chemistry there with those people, right? Like, so they book it because they have a chemistry together.
I would assume there's like, they do a chemistry test on a lot of things, and
sometimes they don't. Like I've gotten booked with no chemistry test, and I was like, so kind of, how does this director and the casting people, how do they know? Like, it's funny how they just kind of see it sometimes.
It's all mathematics. You think it'd be a physics test. I don't even know what that means.
Really
I don't even know what that means. Hey, you branched off into also, like you were talking about, you were writing and directing and producing. When did you start doing that? Because you have some stuff that you've written that are coming out at some point, maybe.
We'll hope, God willing. You never know with this business, but
When did you get into that? Were you always a writer?
Yes, kind of. I wrote poetry growing up. It was like my therapy. I wrote a lot. Like I'd write when I was going through something, and it was just like purging, and that was my form of journaling, I guess. And it was like a creative outlet, and I loved it. And then later on, I started short stories, and then I had a few little things like published in small little things. And I've always had people like kind of encouraging me to do that, encouraging me to do poetry and art. So I just, I've been doing it for a bit. And then, eventually I was like, I have these ideas. I want to do this. And but I'm not like the best person with structure. So I always get like,
So you're the dialogue person. If you're going to have a writing partner or whatever, you always want to find someone whose your weakness is their strength and vice versa.
Exactly.
If you were good with structure, find someone who's good with dialogue and vice versa.
Exactly. And I was working with a writing partner for a bit, and I felt like that. I was like, it was such a great complementary.
Yes. I'm good with limericks that end with Nantucket. Things that rhyme with Nantucket. So, I mean,
Give me one now.
You never heard that?
Secret talent, non-talent.
You never heard that naughty limerick? Last days and Sisters of Salvation.
Yeah.
Those are scripts that you've written.
Yes.
Like full scripts.
Well, Last Days is a short.
Okay.
That was actually, and then Sisters of Salvation is a feature, and then I have a feature I'm working on now, which is my baby.
It's my baby.
It's like the purpose of life kind of script. So
oh wow.
Yeah. So it's
That's a big one.
I feel like the other ones were kind of just like practice and
to get to this part. Well, that could be. I mean, some people's best work, it takes a while to get there. Others, they top out after one.
Oh, I'm not gonna say like several scripts in because
you never know. I still don't consider myself a writer, even though I've written I don't know how many scripts.
I don't feel like
TV and all this stuff. Yeah.
But I feel like you've done a ton.
You know what? I think that I fall into the trap, which you should not do, because I always tell people not to do this, but I do it myself. My close friends are so huge in the business. Movies that are made for $100 million from these scripts that sell for the millions, and I'm making this. I made a $5 million movie, and I made like a $1 million movie. So to me, I don't know. I don't look at it.
That's a lot of money to be like,
well,
as income for a script. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I'm not for your script, but for a production of your script.
Well, yes.
Am I correct?
You are correct. Okay. Yes, you are correct in saying that, even though, and I'm very proud of that project also.
Yeah. Just to be working, especially nowadays.
It feels good to, yes, right now we can't work right now.
Well,
unless we do a podcast, which I'm allowed to do. I check with SAG. I'm okay to do it. Just letting you guys know.
So much more time for other things now that there's a strike.
Yeah, I mean, but you know what? It's kind of like a new pandemic. It's like everyone's going to try to find, I'm waiting for people to come back. Hey, I made new sourdough bread now.
Oh my.
Because that's what I did during the pandemic.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, it's true. That is very true. It's like you finally get out of it and things start picking up and then it's like, just kidding.
Yeah.
And I feel like
I hope it ends soon so we can all get back and start creating and let people, because I think like Kurt had said on the show once that stuff comes out that isn't up to the caliber of what we're used to, people are going to revolt, and they don't want that. So hopefully the strike ends, everybody's happy and everybody gets what they want and all that. Final notes, give me something that you have anything coming up at some point that you can talk about that you can't, that we can't talk about too much about, but a little bit about. Please.
So I have a feature film that I'm in that I play a marine biologist. One of the leads.
Wow.
It's called Ghost Divers. It's actually the only shark film that has used real sharks.
Wow.
Not CGI or animatronic
Not like
or whatever.
Spielberg with the mechanical jaws back then in the 70s. This is a real deal. Real sharks.
That's a comparison. But yeah, real sharks.
Wow. And you play a marine biologist.
I do. But everything else is a secret and I can't say anything more. But.
Well, you know what's funny, because this is how improv or comedy works. George Costanza in Seinfeld, Jason Alexander, pretended to be a marine biologist in one of the funniest episodes of Seinfeld.
Full circle.
Full circle. And yes.
Well, I can say this because this is a very important aspect of why I really wanted to do this project and how I gauge projects that I do.
Please,
that I am able, I'm blessed enough to be able to choose. So it has a lot of awareness about ocean conservation and preservation and
that's awesome.
And some other important issues. So
because you're all about the environment, the oceans, the animals, advocating. And now, is there like a go-to organization if people want to get involved in that or to learn more about veganism?
There's so many, but I did do some like fundraising for Humane Society and
Humane Society.
I've had a long relationship with them, so I do like them. But there's a lot of stuff going on with the dog and cat meat trade that people need to really continue fighting for. I've noticed a lot of this has kind of been suppressed a little bit, and with the veganism, there's so much information out there. Dr. McGregor wrote this book called How Not to Die. That was one of my favorite books by him. It's so simple, so easy. I sent it to people. Yeah, it was and then the China study, I think he was in on that. So he's a good resource. There's nutritionfacts.org if you're interested in the nutrition side of it. I love that site. I reference it a lot. There's so many great
that's awesome.
Plant-based doctors. And then also the documentaries. Okay, so I have to plug these because I love them.
Please.
There is What the Health, and there's
What the Health.
The Game Changers is like a fun version and a little bit more geared towards men since there's so much like propaganda, like getting men into thinking they have to have meat and all this stuff.
Yes.
And then Earthlings, obviously, Earthlings is more about the animal aspect. And then there's a few others. So yeah.
Now, let me ask you a question. Am I a bad person for still eating meat?
No, I was actually thinking like, oh, he's such a good person. And I'm so glad that like we're friends. And
well, thank you. That's very
nice.
nice.
And I feel like you always have. There's like a safe feeling and like a.
That's what parents want to hear of a guy that would be dating their daughter. He's a peaceful, safe
you're
man.
in Los Angeles. So like having people that are,
yes, that's true.
That are peaceful and safe and like kind and like grounding is
thank
so
you.
important.
That means that means a lot because that's true. We don't hear a lot of people like that out here. And thank you for considering me one of those.
Yeah, I don't sit here. No, I'm not like judging people. I'm trying to raise awareness so that they can.
It was a trick.
They
You
can
passed.
understand.
You passed.
So many of my friends eat meat, and I'm like, I have to love people as much as
Yes.
as much or more as I love the animals. But
you're
it's
doing
like,
your part, solo, and then you can tell people, this is some facts here. Look at this, and that. You live your life, but
Have you looked up the facts?
I never used to eat vegan or vegetarian and vegan stuff, but now, depending on who I'm dating at the time, I seem to, because LA, there are a lot of girls that are vegans and vegetarians, and you start dating different girls. And
Not just LA anymore.
Not just LA anymore. It's in your hometown also.
All over.
It's in
Small
Salem,
towns too,
Oregon.
guys.
It's in Des Moines, Iowa. It's everywhere.
Big in like Germany. It's big in London.
It's big in
UK.
London,
It's
big
like,
in UK.
I mean, India used to be mostly vegetarian.
Listen, if you're going to be a cow, be born in India.
Oh, no, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, in trouble.
No. They were very, very obsessed with like the Western culture for a
did
while.
they start to?
That's what I had heard
because they were so
over the years.
sacred. Oh, okay.
I know. And then it just became, and then the videos coming out of there. Oh my!
I would hate to see the the day that changed, like when the cows were going across the road, like, and they know they can take their sweet ass time, and then all of a sudden one day it's like, not anymore, guys.
No.
I'm sorry. And then the cows are, wait, this is not what I didn't sign up for this.
Why don't you get on and help me restart Vegan Chicks? We were gonna.
What would I do? I'm not a chick.
This
I'm not
stuff,
vegan.
the jokes that you're writing, even though they're not necessarily pro-animal, they're you're a
that I'm writing.
writer.
I'm an improviser.
What do you think, guys?
Yeah, what do you think, guys? I don't even know what you want. What would it be? I don't know.
We had an Emmy award-winning
crazy.
director on one of the episodes, and then because I was just like, I need to not do everything. On
Yeah. It's hard to wear
know.
many hats. Trust me, it's tough.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it. We'll see if there's a vegan chick in my future. I don't know what that means, but yeah, maybe.
We all need a vegan chick in our lives.
We all need a vegan chick.
We do.
This vegan chick was awesome. Angella Dawne, everybody. Thank you very much. Peace.